Right, so today is day 134 of 2023, and it is day 134 of my planting a tree every day for 2023. And whether that ends up being a tree for every day or a tree every single day is still up in the air a little bit. But let's get on with it. So for today's planting, we're going to be making a bad decision worse. So a little while ago, I planted a Dracaena fragrans by itself as a tree to mark the 100th Dracaena fragrans planted. Because mostly I've been using them as marker plants for other trees where they will eventually be chopped out once they get too big to sort of coexist with that tree. So I thought it was only fair, as it's been such a sort of constant companion, to plant it as a tree. And as a friend of mine who passed away a couple of years ago used to always say, it's very nice to look at when you plant a whole bunch of closely related plants close together, so you can see all the subtle differences between them. You see all the subtle differences between their leaves, their flowers, their general form. And so to sort of commemorate that, I surrounded it with a lot of different types of Dracaena. So this includes the genus Sansevieria, which has been sunk into Dracaena, or should be sunk into Dracaena at least, as well as a couple of smaller shrubbier types of Dracaena. And I did say at the time I would be extending that. I'd be adding a couple of other types of Dracaena to that once I'd propagated them enough. And my sister picking up on the fact that Dracaena is named for dragon tree because of the dragon tree of the Canaries, which is the type species of the genus. And that the friend who had always been suggesting that was called Pete, nicknamed it Pete's Dragon in a sort of reference to the children's film. And as I spent a lot of today going through Pete's old garden, getting cuttings of some of the plants that might not be thriving so much, and the current occupant suggested that I take a plant that had become rather root-bound in a pot out of the pot, so she could either reuse the pot or just get the plant she didn't like the look of in the pot out. And that plant was another Dracaena, so I thought it would be a good day to return to Pete's Dragon and extend it. So we're going just a couple of meters away because this will end up interacting. These will both need pruning where they are here, otherwise they'll become much too sort of aggressive here, but both of these should be prunable into trees. Now today's Dracaena is Dracaena marginata. Now that is actually probably just a regional form of Dracaena reflexa, which is the type that the Song of India, sort of common houseplant version, is from the species of. And while I would usually think of Dracaena reflexa as a shrub because it tends to have a very sprawling habit, it tends to create a very sort of ground up shape that spreads out quite a lot, and you can't really go under it so much as sort of having to push through it. Dracaena marginata is a form that tends to have a central stem, and while it will branch quite a lot, it does get to a height where its canopy is well overhead and you can walk under it, which I'm using as my rough definition of tree for now. And to continue the theme of planting closely related plants close together where they can share pests and diseases and be a generally bad idea, I am going to carry on planting more Dracaenas around the base of this. So we're starting with 5 Sansevieria types, and there may be some overlap with some of the previous ones because a couple of these I have never seen flower, and so I may have been propagating them over and over again and not realizing they're the same as a different species that I already have. And there's actually one that's probably Sansevieria downsy, which is the same, but it might be one of the other sort of prickle type Dracaenas. There's also what seems to be a Sansevieria or Dracaena cylindrica there, and then there are 2 which are very similar and might both be forms of Sansevieria longiflora. And then there's one that I have absolutely no idea. I've been splitting it, but I haven't seen a flower yet, and I haven't managed to pin a name to it. I think it might be one of the Indian ones. These will need some further care and attention in the future because they will end up interacting as a canopy if I don't keep them well pruned and sort of keep them thinned to a level which allows them to interact without one of them outcompeting the other. But overall, that is everything for today, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was quite a silly little one today. Please tune in again tomorrow when I will be planting another tree, and I have not yet decided what, so we can find out together.